Hello, friends. Today, we're going to talk about the book The Rapport by Malcolm Alison and Laurence Alison. Liam lived in a mid-sized town around 30 years old. His life was such that there was neither excitement nor any clear direction. His job at the office was just okay, and his personal life seemed stagnant. Even his weekends passed like everyone else's, some Netflix, some sleep, and the rest of the time scrolling on his phone. One day, Liam's eyes fell on the window of a bookstore. A book was displayed there titled The 4 Ways to Understand People. Just hearing the title sparked curiosity in him. 4 ways to understand people, he thought. Perhaps this is what was missing in his life. He couldn't truly connect with people. Liam picked up the book. Its cover was simple, but the title was intriguing. He made a promise to himself. This time, he wouldn't stop until he finished reading it. Back home, he went straight to his couch and opened the book. On the very first page, it said, "To connect is to understand." Reading this line felt like someone had described his own struggle. This was exactly his problem, lack of connection. The title of the first chapter was the HER Principles. He began reading. Honesty, empathy, autonomy, reflection. Each word echoed in Liam's mind. This seems really interesting, he said to himself. The first principle was honesty. The book explained that people often don't speak the plain truth in conversations. Either they're afraid of offending others, or they sugarcoat things. But honesty means speaking the truth without beating around the bush. Liam remembered how his boss often said that he was too diplomatic. It struck him that maybe his boss was right. The next day, he decided to practice this. At the office, a colleague asked him, "Liam, can you review my presentation?" Normally, Liam wouldn't have been able to say no. But this time, he said clearly, "I don't have time right now. If it's not urgent, I can check it by evening." The colleague was a bit surprised at first, but then smiled and said, "Fair enough. Thanks for being honest." That day, Liam realized that honesty might feel awkward, but in the long run, it builds trust. He also learned that how you say the truth matters just as much as saying it. The second principle was empathy. While reading, the book explained that empathy isn't just about understanding someone's feelings, but genuinely trying to feel them. Liam found this principle a bit tricky. He wondered, "I'm so confused myself. How can I possibly feel someone else's emotions?" That evening, he decided to try it. His flatmate, Ryan, seemed upset. Casually, Ryan said, "Had a bad day at the office today." Normally, Liam would have replied, "Oh, chill, it'll be fine." But today, he remembered to practice empathy. He asked, "What happened? Was there something specific?" After some hesitation, Ryan shared that he got scolded by a client. This time, Liam didn't give advice or brush it off. He calmly responded, "That sucks to hear. Sometimes clients can be unreasonable. But I know you work honestly, and this was just one bad day." A faint smile appeared on Ryan's face as he said, "Thanks, man." For the first time, Liam understood the true meaning of empathy. Sometimes, people just need to feel heard. The third principle was autonomy. The book explained that giving people their space and respecting their choices is crucial. Imposing your ideas on others doesn't build connections. Liam realized that this principle was barely present in his life. Often, he would give unsolicited advice to his younger brother, whether about his career or his girlfriend. His brother listened, but mostly avoided him afterward. This time, Liam consciously made an effort. He called his brother and simply asked, "What's your plan for next year?" Hesitantly, his brother said, "I don't know. I'm thinking of doing an MBA." Normally, Liam would have said, "MBA is fine, but get some experience first." But this time, he only replied, "That sounds like a good option. Have you thought about any colleges?" For the first time, his brother sounded excited. He started listing colleges and discussing his plans. Liam realized that giving autonomy makes people feel confident about their decisions. This principle turned out to be more powerful than he had expected. The fourth principle was reflection. It talked about reflective listening, an approach where you actively listen and summarize the other person's words. The goal is to make them feel that you genuinely understand what they are saying. Liam decided to try this principle. The next day, Liam decided to try it out. His friend Neha had recently gone through a breakup and came to talk to him. Earlier, Liam would have said something like, "Why are you so upset? Forget him and move on." But now he decided to change his response. Neha said, "He told me I overreact. Do I really do that?" Liam calmly replied. Liam then added, "Do you feel like he really tried to understand you?" Neha paused and said, "Exactly. I always felt like he never made the effort to understand me." Liam responded, "And that's why you're feeling hurt, right? Because you tried, but he couldn't reciprocate." There was a sense of relief in Neha's eyes. She said, "Yes, exactly. Thank you, Liam. For the first time, I feel like I'm not wrong." Liam realized that reflecting on someone's emotions isn't just about listening. It's also a way of making the other person feel understood and validated. That night, Liam closed the book and thought, "Wow, these 4 principles really are life-changing." He decided he would implement them in his life. But the question lingered, will these principles work in every situation? Will they give me clarity in my own life? Liam's mind was still spinning with the principles he had been trying to adopt over the past few days. He noticed they were slowly changing the way he thought and interacted with people. He was becoming more aware of what he said, how he said it, and how he listened to others. One evening, he sat down with the book again and turned to the next chapter. The title read, Understanding Communication Styles Through Animal Metaphors. Liam chuckled softly. So now they're comparing communication styles to animals? Let's see what new lessons I can learn. The first communication style in the book was the T-Rex. Liam instantly visualized scenes from Jurassic Park, where the T-Rex was roaring and wreaking havoc. The book described how people with the T-Rex style are dominant and aggressive. They thrive in high-stakes situations, but can sometimes make others uncomfortable. Liam wondered aloud, am I like that? Then he thought, no, definitely not. But I've seen this style in some people at work. He recalled his team leader, Vikram, who often got loud during meetings. If a target was missed, Vikram would get so confrontational that once Liam saw a junior break down in tears after a meeting. But the book also explained that the T-Rex style wasn't all bad. It could be effective in high-pressure situations, as long as it was balanced. Liam thought, if I ever talk to Vikram about this, maybe I can help him understand how his aggression affects others. But how do I explain it to him without making him defensive? He decided he would test this approach in real life. The next style was the lion. The book explained that people with the lion style are authoritative. They behave like leaders, strong, decisive, and sometimes nurturing. Lion communication often inspires people, but can sometimes come across as overbearing. Liam wondered, do I communicate like a lion? He realized he sometimes did this with his younger brother. When his brother shared his problems, Liam would always jump to give solutions. He thought he was being a protective big brother, but sometimes his brother would get irritated. A line in the book made him stop and think. Leadership isn't just about control. It's about knowing when to step back. Liam thought, maybe I need to learn this balance, to respect my brother's autonomy before offering advice. The third style was the mouse. The book described how people with the mouse style are passive and submissive. They avoid confrontation at all costs. Liam immediately recognized this as a style he often adopted himself. Sometimes, in uncomfortable situations, he would stay quiet just because he didn't like conflict. He remembered when a friend had asked to borrow money, and Liam knew the friend wouldn't return it. Still, he didn't say no because he didn't want to create a conflict. When the money wasn't returned, Liam was angry at himself. The book stated that while the mouse style could be useful at times, making it a habit could harm one's self-respect and confidence. Liam promised himself he would learn to set boundaries. Finally, the book introduced the monkey, a cooperative style. Introducing the style. Liam read about the monkey style in the book. It described people with this style as collaborative and playful. They make others feel comfortable and encourage teamwork. Liam found this style the most interesting. He wondered, am I like this sometimes? This thought reminded him of an old meeting. It was a team project, and everyone was behind schedule. At that time, he had jokingly motivated everyone by saying, let's wrap this up together. The day we hit the target, tea and samosas are on me. His humor had worked that day. Everyone relaxed and started supporting one another. Liam realized that the monkey style works with everyone. It puts others at ease and promotes open communication, adapting to situations. The book further explained that no one is a master of all 4 communication styles. People adapt their style based on the situation and the person they are interacting with. The real skill lies in adjusting your communication style according to the context. After reading this lesson, Liam decided to conduct an interesting experiment. He began observing people around him at work and among friends to identify their communication styles. Observing others. His first target was his office. He observed Vikram, a colleague. Liam noticed that Vikram often behaved like a T-Rex, strict and authoritative. But one day, Vikram calmly explained a mistake to a junior. That was the moment Liam realized that everyone carries different styles within them. Practicing his own style. Liam also started practicing his own communication style. One day, when his mother asked, "When will you start thinking about marriage?" Liam didn't avoid the question like he used to. Earlier, he would act like a mouse, awkwardly silent. But this time, he combined the lion and monkey styles. Calmly, he said, "Mom, I know you're worried about my marriage, but I need some more time. When the right time comes, I'll let you know. Until then, just relax." His mom calmed down and replied, "Okay, as long as you're happy, that's all I want." Each day, Liam was learning something new. He realized that communication styles weren't just about talking, but also about understanding people on a deeper level. Testing with friends. He decided to test this concept with his friend, Neha. She had been venting about her ex-boyfriend again. Previously, Liam would have comforted her with the monkey style, offering playful support. But this time, he used the mouse style and stayed silent, letting her talk. He noticed that Neha needed space to express her feelings. Once she was done, Liam shifted to the lion style and confidently said, "Neha, whatever you did the right thing. Now it's time to move forward." For the first time, Neha said to him, "Liam, you truly understand me now. Thanks." A deeper realization. While finishing the lesson, Liam realized that principles and communication styles are deeply connected. Building connections isn't just about honesty or empathy. It's about understanding the other person's style and responding accordingly. However, the story wasn't over yet. Liam had another question in his mind. Are these communication styles effective in every situation? Can they be used in conflict management? With this thought, he turned to the next chapter of the book. The next chapter, The Importance of Listening. Liam flipped to the next page, and the title made him pause. The Importance of Listening. He asked himself, what's the big deal about listening? Don't we do it every day? Paying attention to what someone says, that's listening, right? But as he read further, he realized that listening isn't just about hearing words. It's about using your heart and mind, not just your ears. And perhaps this was something he hadn't been doing correctly. The book began with a powerful line. Most people listen to reply, not to understand. This hit Liam hard. He began reflecting. Do I do this? When someone speaks to him, does he listen only to respond? He recalled how Neha often shared her problems. He would immediately offer advice, without considering whether she even needed it. Then he thought about his mother. Whenever she discussed family issues, he would often reply, "Mom, stop overthinking this." Now he realized that those responses weren't to help her, but to end the conversation quickly. Listening is an active process. The book emphasized that listening is an active process. It's not just about being silent while someone talks. Two key things are essential. Liam made up his mind to try and properly understand what the other person was saying, and to make them feel that their words mattered. The next day, he decided to implement this in his life. The first opportunity came at the office. His junior, Paige, had been looking quite disturbed for the past few days. Finally, Paige came up to him and said, "Liam, can I talk to you for a moment?" In the past, Liam would have quickly given her a solution, but this time he held back. He said, "Yes, Paige, tell me, I'm listening." Paige began to share her thoughts slowly. She was talking about how she felt that her hard work wasn't being properly recognized by the team. Liam didn't interrupt her and let her speak completely. For the first time, he trained himself to just listen. When Paige stopped, he gently asked, "So, do you feel like you're doing your best, but maybe no one in the team is noticing it?" Paige nodded, and with a smile, she said, "Yes, exactly, I thought you would understand." After that conversation, Paige looked visibly relaxed, and Liam realized for the first time how powerful just listening can be. In the next section of the book, it explained that there are 3 levels of listening. 1. Basic surface listening. Here you only listen to someone's words, but don't understand the deeper meaning. This is the most basic level. 2. Engaged listening. In this, you actively listen and show your attention through body language or small affirmations like "I see" or "okay." 3. Empathetic listening. This is the most advanced level where you connect deeply with the other person's feelings. Liam decided to practice empathetic listening with his mom the next day. That evening, his mom said once again, "Liam, your dad's retirement is near, and I'm thinking of planning some savings. But your dad says there's no need for it right now. I don't know what to do." Normally, Liam would have said, "Don't worry, Mom, Dad knows everything." But this time, he tried empathetic listening. He asked, "Mom, do you feel like if we don't plan now, we might face problems later?" His mom immediately replied, "Yes, son, that's exactly what worries me. I also feel like your dad takes everything too lightly." Liam understood her feelings and said, "You feel like Dad doesn't take your concerns seriously, and maybe you're the one left to figure everything out alone." His mom nodded, and for the first time, there was visible relief in her eyes. "Yes, exactly, you understood what I was feeling." That evening, his mom and dad discussed their savings plan, and Liam realized how much change could come from simply listening. The book also mentioned that active listening is not only important in personal relationships, but is equally essential in professional life. In the office, his meetings often ended in arguments where people didn't listen to each other, but were busy trying to make their own point. The following week, during a client presentation, 2 of his colleagues started fighting. Liam intervened and calmed them down. He said, "Okay, let's first listen to each other's points, and then we'll discuss." He let both of them express themselves fully, and when they were done, he summarized, "So, what you both are saying is that we need to change our approach, but the disagreement is only on the timeline, right?" Both colleagues nodded, and the argument that could have escalated into a big conflict ended just because Liam took the time to listen. In the final part of the book, Liam read that listening isn't about agreeing with everything. It's about making the other person feel heard. This changed his perspective completely. He now understood that everyone needs a chance to speak, and when someone makes an effort to understand them, they naturally stop being defensive. He applied this new skill with his friend Nina as well. One day, Nina called him and started complaining about her boss. Normally, Liam would have said, "Don't pay attention to your boss's words." But this time, he just listened. Nina said, "My boss micromanages everything. I feel like he doesn't trust my capabilities." Liam empathetically replied, "So, you feel like he doesn't give you the freedom to do your work, and that's making you feel less confident." Nina took a deep breath and said, "Exactly, you understood how I feel." By the end of the day, Liam realized that listening wasn't just a skill, it was an art. He promised himself that he would practice listening before speaking, and most importantly, share this art with others. But the story didn't end there. Liam had another question in his mind. Could active listening also help in conflict management, and could it help understand other people's hidden emotions? He opened the next chapter of the book. As Liam kept reading, it became a habit for him to feel like he was understanding a hidden part of himself or his life with each new chapter. This time, the chapter was titled Managing Reactance in Communication. At first, he found the word reactance a bit strange, but as soon as he started reading, he realized how often this had happened in his own life. The book explained that reactance occurs when a person feels like their autonomy, freedom, is being taken away by someone else. In such situations, people tend to do what they're told not to do just to prove their independence. Liam immediately thought of his younger brother Riley, who was in 12th grade and often careless about his studies. Their mom would always tell him to study, and Riley would run away from it. When their mom angrily said, "If you don't get good marks this time, we'll put you in a coaching class," Riley's response was, "Do whatever you want, I don't care." The book explained that when we give direct advice or criticism, the other person becomes naturally defensive, feeling like their autonomy is being challenged. This is what leads to reactance. Liam immediately understood that Riley's reluctance to study wasn't because of laziness, but because of reactance. The book suggested a way to manage reactance by offering choices instead of commands. This would make the person feel empowered and see the suggestion as a choice, not a forceful decision. Liam decided to try this the next day. Riley was watching videos on his phone that evening when Liam walked in and asked, "Hey, what's your plan for studying?" Riley replied without looking, "No plan. We'll see what happens." Normally, Liam would have said, "Stop wasting your life, focus on your studies." But this time, he changed his approach. He said, "You've got two options. Either you study for 2 hours now and then play games, or you wake up early tomorrow and study the whole day. Whatever you prefer." After a moment of thinking, Riley replied, "I'll study now. Waking up early never works for me." Liam couldn't believe it. This was the same Riley who always rebelled. He realized that offering choices made people feel they were making their own decisions, and their autonomy remained intact. The book also gave another interesting example of how reactance is triggered by criticism and feedback. It explained that when we criticize someone directly, the person doesn't accept their mistake, but instead starts defending themselves. Liam remembered his office team, where one of his colleagues, Amit, always missed deadlines. Whenever Liam confronted him, Amit would immediately give excuses. "There's too much work, I have another project, I'm managing everything alone." The book suggested that instead of criticizing, we should turn the criticism into advice and make it a choice for the other person. The next time Amit missed a deadline, Liam said, "I know the workload is high, but if you'd like, we can prioritize together. Are you comfortable with the original deadline, or would you like some more time?" To his surprise, Amit calmly responded, "Okay, Liam, I'll finish it in 2 days, and if I need help, I'll reach out to you." Liam was amazed that he managed to get work done without tension. The book also mentioned that reactance is often triggered not just by the content, but by the way something is said, the tone or approach. Liam recalled how his mom would scold Riley, and he would react defensively. But when she would kindly ask, "Do you need help with your studies, dear?" Riley would be more cooperative. Liam observed this with his friend Nina as well. Nina often complained that her younger brother didn't listen to her. "Whenever I say something, he answers back," she said. Liam now understood reactance and its role in communication. Liam explained and said that next time, instead of giving him a direct command, he should offer 2 options, seeing that it would make him more cooperative. A week later, Neha called him and said, "Hey, your advice actually worked. When I told my brother that he should study, he refused. But when I asked him if he wanted to study in the evening or in the morning, he himself agreed to study in the evening." The book also provided 3 golden rules to avoid reactance. 1. Use collaborative language. Instead of saying, "You should do this," use phrases like, "How can we solve this?" 2. Focus on positive outcomes. Shift the conversation towards the positive impact the decision can have, rather than criticism. 3. Show empathy. Make the other person feel understood and supported. Liam started applying these 3 principles in his life. One day, his mother asked him, "Liam, I need to talk to your dad again about savings, but he always ignores me. What should I do?" Liam calmly replied, "Mom, instead of directly telling Dad he should start saving, ask him how he would like to secure the future. Then include the idea of saving in the options. Maybe he will agree to it." His mother did just that. That night, when she and his father talked, for the first time, his father agreed to the importance of saving. Liam now realized that the real magic in communication lies in how you make people feel. He understood that managing reactance is important not just to smoothen conversations, but to improve relationships as well. As he turned the page of the book, a fascinating topic caught his eye: the role of nonverbal communication. He thought to himself, body language and facial expressions. We see them every day. What's new to learn here? But as he started reading, he realized that things were not as simple as they seemed. The first line of the book made him think deeply. Words account for only 7% of communication, while tone and body language make up the other 93%. Liam paused and thought, so what we say isn't as important as how we say it and what we show. He realized that until now he had only focused on verbal communication, but had hardly noticed nonverbal cues such as gestures, expressions, and posture. The book further explained that people often express their emotions not through words, but through gestures and expressions, which are much more powerful than words. Liam started connecting this idea to his own life experiences. He instantly remembered the time when Neha was angry with him. He had asked her, "Are you angry?" and her response was, "No," but her face and body language told a completely different story. Neha's arms were crossed over her chest, and there was a slight irritation in her eyes. At that time, Liam thought he had over-exaggerated, but now he understood that even though Neha verbally denied it, her nonverbal cues were telling the truth. The book mentioned that to understand nonverbal communication, one should focus on a few things. 1. Body posture. Whether someone is sitting hunched, standing straight, or relaxing their shoulders, it reveals a lot about their confidence and mood. 2. Facial expressions. Our eyes, eyebrows, and smile can reveal our true feelings. 3. Gestures. Moving hands, scratching the head, or shaking the leg can indicate nervousness or excitement. 4. Eye contact. Making or avoiding eye contact reveals comfort levels. Liam thought, maybe that's why people sometimes say I look uninterested. He often finds himself looking around while talking to someone. He immediately decided to take action the next chance he got. The next day, during a team meeting at the office, his junior Pyle was asking for feedback on her new presentation. Pyle said, "Sir, I think these slides are a bit too concise. Do you agree?" Normally, Liam would have given verbal feedback, but this time he paid attention to Pyle's body language. He noticed that she was nervously twisting her fingers, her face looked hesitant, and she barely made eye contact. Liam asked Pyle, "Do you think these slides are concise, or is something missing?" Pyle immediately nodded, as if she was waiting for that question. She said, "Yes, sir, I think I need to add some more data points, but I was confused about whether it's necessary." Liam realized that while Pyle appeared verbally confident, her body language was showing insecurity. Had he not noticed this, he might have overlooked it. Liam realized that he too needed to pay attention to his own body language. Often, even when we say the right things, our body language can undermine our message. He remembered a time when he spoke to his boss about a promotion. Verbally, he sounded confident, but perhaps he hadn't paid attention to his body language. Now he recalled that his shoulders were slumped, he hardly made eye contact, and his voice was soft. His hands kept rubbing the armrest of the chair. Now he understood that his boss probably focused more on his body language than his words at that moment. The book then highlighted 3 key principles of nonverbal communication. 1. Congruence. Your body language and words should be in sync. If you're saying one thing but your body language is saying something else, people won't trust your message. 2. Cultural sensitivity. Gestures and expressions may have different meanings in different cultures. For example, in India, nodding the head means agreement, but in Western countries, it can cause confusion. 3. Situational awareness. It's important to interpret nonverbal cues in context. For example, someone crossing their arms could be because they are cold, not necessarily because they are hostile. Liam decided to apply these principles in both his personal and professional life. So, friends, this was today's book summary. How did you like it? Please let us know by commenting. And thank you for listening until the end. If you like our free summary, you can subscribe to our channel.